Hi there, Neil here. So I want to welcome you to this little video that I'm putting together. This is probably one of the most significant and quick coaching tools that I don't even know how to say, came across. It's a combination of a bunch of different things, inspiration from different places, and it has been an amazing experience so far, and I've shared it with a few people. So I wanted to get this further out and have more people use it to see if it helps them. If nothing else, just share the experience with the world. If only one person watches it, then it serves its purpose. So I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you're watching this. So here's the experience, here's the coaching process. So ultimately, this is really just understanding that whenever we have negative emotion to something, it means that we're giving our attention to something externally, generally. So, and when we feel negative emotion, it's usually, especially in our world outside of us, it's usually felt in lower energy centers. So you can call them chakras. You can call it, hey, it's my pancreas, my digestion, my gonads, my adrenal glands, whatever it might be. You're going to feel it in a very specific spot in your body. So the exercise is based on that. So there's two ways that I use this. One is just using this for something that I'm struggling with, where I'll actually go in and focus on that. Or I'll actually do this when I'm loving on myself. I'll actually go through about 20 different things that I can find that I love about myself, and anything that doesn't feel loving, where I feel it in my chest, in my heart, I'll feel it in my stomach, and then there means there's some external attachment that I have relative to that subject. But let's just talk about, for now, let's talk about the problem states that we're in. So take something that feels heavy for you, something that you know you're working with, whether it's a body issue, money issue, relationship issue, doesn't matter. This could be really powerful for just about anything that you're experiencing in life. So what I actually like to do with clients who've never done any kind of this work before is I'll actually have them close their eyes and feel what love feels like. So think about something. So if you do this on your own, you close your eyes, laying down, sitting, doesn't matter, and you want to think about something that you absolutely adore and love, something that makes your heart smile. So it could be your most favorite pair of shoes, favorite place in the world, your favorite person, favorite experience, just something that, for me, it's really easy to think about motorcycling or snowboarding. Those are two things that light me up instantly, because those are two things that force me to be present in the moment. Go figure. So, and there's, coaching does that for me. I do manual therapy, that can do it as well. So there are many different things that can produce that experience for you. It could be an animal. Animals are really easy. Music even. So whatever it is, think about that thing and then think about why you love it. And as you do that, pay attention. You should feel some sensation in your heart. You feel that energy building there. So if you're not used to doing that, you may need to sit there for a little while and do that, and that's not a bad practice to do on a day-to-day basis anyway. So that just gives you the understanding of what it feels like to be heart-centered. All right, so the next thing you'll do is focus on your problem. You'll notice that if you did feel it there, you could just jump right into this as well. You don't have to start at your heart, but you go right into thinking about the subject. You'll feel it in somewhere in your abdomen. If it's higher, it's usually related to your identity. If it's a little lower, it's usually related to power. If it's even lower, like really, really base of your spine, it's usually related to something connected to family and our need to be accepted and so forth. So it doesn't really matter where you feel it, as long as you do notice that you feel something, and that's where our negative emotions are going to be. But what you're going to acknowledge there is that this feeling here is energy that's going out. So you have some part of you, let's call it your soul, your energy, some part of your consciousness, whatever it is, it's going out of you and it's attaching to something. Even if it's something about your physical appearance, it is going out and then turning back on itself. For example, if you don't like your love handles or you like your stomach, it's going out and coming right back and attaching to the exterior of that. So if you can imagine while you're sitting there seeing this energy tether going out and being connected to somebody, or something, or an idea of something, and so now you see that energy going out you're losing vitality in that regard. So just think about how much energy is being pushed out of you and how much you're taking away from your own vitality, from your own health. So you're going to struggle with being sick, having body weight issues, or other issues as well. But it's also a signal to other people that they pick up unconsciously through their reticular activating system. So there's other parts, or just, just their senses. They're picking up something that you're putting down literally. So what you then want to do is allow that to be disconnected. I imagine, cutting that energy off, like just with my hand, and it actually almost pixelates, the connection is gone. And then I imagine that that tether coming back into my body. And so it'll take a little time sometimes, but I'll sit there and slowly draw it in. And there might be other things that I find, oh my God, other tethers related to that. And I do that until I don't feel that sensation anymore. That means that my spirit is back. I called it back, and it's now back into the center and where it started. So then I go through the Ho'oponopono prayer. Now I do it, I don't know if I do it in the same order that I had learned it or it's taught, but this is the way that I do it. The Ho'oponopono, just so you know, basically a Hawaiian prayer. It's a Hawaiian practice that has a prayer that says, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. Now I think it was taught to me in reverse, where it was thank you, I love you, and then thank you, but I think it works best to say I love you at the end, because that's when you can actually bring this back up into your heart. So the way you would do that is once it comes in, you would say, I'm sorry. And say sorry for whatever you need to. Sorry that I've allowed you to attach to this thing that isn't about you. I'm sorry that I've allowed you to focus all this attention to this thing that is outside of me, or whatever. And then please forgive me. Please forgive me for not acting sooner. Please forgive me, whatever you need forgiveness for relative to what's been happening and where your energy's been spent. And then you say thank you. I often say thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for allowing me to learn from this experience. Thank you for doing what you thought was best for me, even though sometimes I don't, but I was doing what I thought was best for me at that time. Things of that nature. And then the last is you say, I love you. And as you say, I love you, focus on that. Immediately for me, it goes right into my chest. It means I've reintegrated this part of myself back to my heart. And it's then usually gone. It may take a little bit of time for you to sit with I love you, and maybe even come up with reasons why you love that part of you. That can be really powerful, just to sit there for a few minutes. And so you've accomplished reintegration at that point. Then you want to go back and think about it again. There may be 20 different avenues to this. And so whatever the subject is that you focus on, when you go back and think about it, just pay attention to what it is that is the representation of that. What's the visual representation of that? And or maybe you hear something, or maybe you see something, but there's going to be some sort of representation of that. And that subject can have 20 different representations of it. Or you can have almost the exact same thing, but it's just a little different this time, the next time you go through. And then just keep doing that, bring it back in, cut it off, bring it back in, go through the I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, let it integrate back here. And you can do that over and over again. So until you can't feel it anymore. There may be some things you have to spend 20 minutes on with this. There might be some things that it's gone right away. But it's a really great way for you, if nothing else, to get present to the physiological emotions that are happening and where you feel that. And if it's not an energy center, then it is a gland that's overproducing hormones that are going to affect your body and your health. So even if it's just from that perspective, feeling that and knowing that that's there, I like the idea that it is an outside attachment that I have. I'm not being present with myself, and I'm looking for somebody else to provide me with something, whether it's safety, security, significance, or love. I'm depending on an outside source to get that. And when they're not behaving in a way that's congruent with what I think I need and how I need it, then I suffer. But it was never their job to begin with. So by pulling it back, you're taking your spirit back, you're taking your soul back, you're taking your energy back, and you're rectifying it. And so the Ho'oponopono is a real simple way of doing it. There may be other ways that you can do that for yourself. If you have other ways, by all means, play with it. So all I ask for you to do in return is to comment below about your experience if you did try this. I'm really curious of how this works. I've used it with a couple of people. I've been using it for just a little while now, and I've been ramping it up and trying different things for the last couple of days, and it has been significant in some things that I was struggling with. So just a weight has been lifted off. It's just amazing how light I feel. So I'd love to know your experiences. If it didn't work, that's awesome too. I'd love to know why or what your experience was. If it did work, by all means share that. And if there's anything that you did or anything that you did to help it and morph it into something better, please share it, because that's something that then we can put into this mix and share with other people then who could benefit from what you did for yourself. So, but trust yourself in this. Trust the guidance that's coming forth, and whatever you need to hear, see, experience, that is guidance coming from a higher place for you, a higher conscious mind, your divine consciousness, source energy, whatever it might be. That information is going to come to you through these kind of processes. So pay attention to that and then share that, because ultimately your conversation with that higher party self is a conversation that I'd love to hear about, because then I get the benefit from your experiences and your conversation with Source or God or whatever it might be. So thanks for watching, and I can't wait to hear your comments. All right, cheers.